Hello and welcome to Coffee Catch-Ups. And I had to wear my Black Caps shirt because what a result overnight for the Black Caps, getting the win over England. If anybody on here is a sports fan, make sure you hit us up and let us know, because I was jumping up and down like a crazy person to get some revenge on England after that the 50 over the one-day World Cup where they hurt us. But it was epic, and it put me in a hell of a mood for the day. I had to wear my Black Cap shirt to the office and had to wear it for Coffee Catch-Up. And I'm really excited today because I have got a friend joining me today, another legendary guest joining us, someone who I've seen really evolve in many facets. You know, we're talking about his involvement as an investor, but also as an individual. He's a big, I guess, supporter of what we do at Wealth Mentor, and we often see his face and his energy, and it really gives me a great pleasure in inviting Laramie to join me. So, Laramie, you there, my friend? Good timing getting a phone call. Perfect. How you doing?
There we go. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah, sorry, it pays to put your phone on mute, I found, when you're in these calls. So my apologies.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Welcome. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, the sun's shining, and yeah, it's all go. So
awesome. Now, as I said, thank you for joining me, and I gave you a nice little intro there, talking about the involvement of you and how the growth I've seen of you as an individual. But do you want to just give us a little bit of a brief intro as to who you are as a person? The fact that you're investing alongside your old man, that really is something that's quite special, and we'll elaborate on that in a little while. But introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and where you're coming from.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jono. Yeah, so 23 years old. We actually started our investing journey when I was 19. And it was by and large my father that came up with the idea. So me and him have been side and side, I guess, for the last three and a half years. And it's been really good, having that, I guess, as you say, having the energy and the drive to push the deals forward, but then also being able to lean on Dad for experience and intuition and direction as well on what to do and what not to do. So, yeah, I think, balancing it out, I think we make a really good combo.
Yeah, it's wicked, and I think it's really cool being able to, go into business and invest alongside family, and be able to see, the growth of your family as well together, I guess, in the investing space. Is that something that you're really appreciative of? Being able to go through that journey with your dad, and the impact that you're having on your family.
Yeah, absolutely, for certain, Jono. I mean, it's amazing to actually see, lives being turned around, the traditional corporate ladder, so to speak, when you're, you get trapped in there, you're working for your money, but to actually really see some life-changing results financially for the family and the wider family, as you say, is absolutely huge. And I think in one sense we can't thank Wealth Mentor enough really for the advice and trusting the process, I think, and just putting the mahi in and getting the treats.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And, I mean, how epic that you got into this at 19 years old. I mean, that there is a hell of a great, it's so inspirational at your age. I mean, do you think, was there a drive from you as an individual to get in that space as well? I mean, yes, you said your dad kind of came along with the concept and got you into it, but surely as a 19-year-old, there must have been some sort of drive that you had to become the best version of yourself as well.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, and that has known me, I'm a pretty competitive, like to win kind of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Can't handle losing, if I'm absolutely honest. So, when I started work, I was just looking at other people, other really successful figures out there, and I was thinking, there's got to be a better way to get ahead faster, rather than a salary, sitting on a wage, and retiring when you're 65 with a mortgage if you're lucky. You only get one shot at life, and I thought, why not? It's my life. Why don't I live it on my terms rather than someone else's? And I thought the best way to do this is search for ways or copy people that are successful? What are successful people doing? Ask myself that question daily, you know. So
yeah, it's really interesting. And yeah, carry on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think that's probably where that drive came from. And I think that's when that opportunity, reared its head to me, that I just grabbed it with both hands and thought, right, that's it, I'm all in. So,
yeah. But I think there's a lot of credit that goes to you as well, because one of the things that I'm seriously proud of is the effort that you and your dad put in to continually grow as individuals as well. We see your face on the webinars. We see you joining us in terms of the chat on the VIP page. I think the last post that you put up there is like, hey, awesome people, or this great community, or something along those lines. Like, you really have immersed yourself amongst the community to become the best version of yourself. And I think, a lot of credit needs to go to you guys there as well, in terms of that. Do you feel like the growth for you as an individual, and what are some of the things, compared to a 19-year-old Laramie to a 23-year-old Laramie, what are some of the things that you think have evolved as an individual, and what are some of the learnings that you've gone through over that period?
Yeah, cool. I think as an individual, it's definitely been a steep learning curve, when you're going through that particular age group. Everyone knows teenagers, probably, if I'm honest, if I wasn't immersed with property, probably be making a lot of financial shitty decisions, really. And I think really the best thing about it is that I got into it early, and I'm just lucky to have really been involved at such a critical age. And actually, it's in one sense, it's made me commit my finances to my future, instead of buying liabilities, which look appealing in the short term. So I think that's been a massive shift for myself, in the way I'm thinking. But I think also in terms of development, I think it's the more you learn, the more you realize you don't actually know. And I think a great person, I'm just not sure who it is, said it, but they said, you don't know what you don't know. So it just shows there's a plethora of information and knowledge to be gained really out there. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, your dad as well, seeing the growth of your dad and his the evolution of him as an investor. But then you guys went and took it to a whole nother level, and you really made it a family affair. I mean, even your uncle's now investing in, and that must be, hugely empowering or inspiring that you and your dad were able to inspire more family members to get out there and do this because of the success that you guys have had. And this here really, really shows the power of becoming the best version of yourself, because you start to influence those around you. You start to affect those around you in such a positive manner. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, totally. So I guess traditional family, we've always been one of those get in, work hard, work for your money, save, get a job, buy a house. Very straightforward. I guess what you could probably call now antique financial advice. And I guess we were just trusting the process, and family members were starting to see the success and came forward and said, hey, we want to be a part of it. Show us how to do it. Some of them, not so interested in the what they might say, the risk of property investment. They'd rather just give us the money and let us do the thinking, so to speak. But absolutely, for sure, I think in a family environment that's evolved over the last 3 to 4 years is from working for money to shifting it across to getting money working for me. So it's been really, really rewarding to actually watch and witness that shift.
Yeah. And then the shift, I guess, we're talking about the shift that you've had and the influence on family members, but then what about yourself as an individual and your investing? So we talked about you growing, in your own sense, but your investing has evolved, from the first deal that you bought after first meeting us and teaching you how to get out there and find the deals and how it works, to what you guys are doing now. That must be a really cool process to just become the better investor every time, and every deal just gets a little bit better.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's right through from when you're negotiating through to, relationships. And I think the biggest is probably your power team, the people around you that are coming to you, bringing the deals, the people that you're utilizing on the ground is absolutely critical. When I think back to the first deal we did, we're all about price. as you are when you're starting out, even though we're told against it, but it's just the default you went to. And we made a lot of mistakes on our first deal, a lot of unreliability and lack of communication, that sort of thing. So it was really cool to learn from that and move forward with other deals and, get the right people on the ground, get the right communication forums running, make sure that we're investing the cash into what's going to get the return, not black holes, avoiding things like that too. So absolutely, I think it's knowledge built on action, but also performance built on experience as well. So it's increasingly the experience side that I'm trying to learn on. But
mate, you're coming out with all the quotes today. These are epic. We should be writing these down. Someone write them down and post them. Jeepers. But when it comes to quotes, there's one quote that really stands out for me, and you're actually a little bit famous amongst the Wealth Mentor fraternity for this quote, because at the end of every event we get feedback from the attendees, because we want to become the best version of ourselves as well as and create the best possible product for our students and our clients. You attended an event, and I think it was probably would have been about 2019, I think, when we had this event, or early 2020. I can't quite remember. What was the feedback? Can you actually remember what the feedback was that you gave?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I think I might have said it was orgasmic or something. Like, it was really, really amazing, which it was. It totally was. It was intense. It was, it was just mind-blowing, really.
Yeah. So you are literally famous for the quote saying that one of our events was orgasmic. It's brilliant, and take that as about as big a compliment as it comes when in terms of running an event. And it certainly is really cool to hear that. So thanks for that great feedback in terms of that. Now, you actually talking about events. You joined us a couple of weeks ago on another one of our events, and that was pretty epic. I absolutely loved it. It's probably an event that I hugely got a lot of benefit out of myself as well. And that's moving into the development space. And again, it comes back down to evolving as an investor, because you guys are currently in the development space or getting into that as well as you've evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, with the recent government changes, it's really topical at the moment with interest deductibility, and bright line advantages, you name it. I think it's just the way everyone's starting to pivot, really. It's, in the market and operating in the market. So, it's been really cool to actually enjoy that event, Jono. I think it's been really, really insightful, and definitely a good base platform anyway to begin, I guess, that strategy of investing. So, I just can't echo enough. It's learning upon learning, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, I mean, we can always count on you and Andy to be at the on the events and the webinars, because I think you guys just want to keep growing. And actually, I might take this opportunity just to drop in and get in a message to show you guys. We've got a webinar coming up next week. It's actually hosted by Kyron, and we'll get to Kyron in a bit, because I know that you're working a little bit with Kyron at the moment. And we're really excited about this webinar coming up next week, which I think is going to be quite an eye-opener for a lot of people, as to how to identify a good investment property. Because as Kiwis, as Aussies, we've got this love affair with property, but it's not necessarily a knowledge about whether it's a good investment property or not. So really looking forward to this one, Thursday 18th of November at 8 p.m. The team will drop a link into the chat for you guys to jump on and see that. Certainly one to take an hour of your day and keep growing as an individual. So and hosted by Kyron. And you actually do a little bit of work with Kyron. I think the thing I love about you as well, because you're so immersed in the family, we say the family, the Wealth Mentor family as well. You're spending time with other mentors and whatnot. What's the time like that you spend with Kyron and trying to become the best version of yourself in terms of the growth that he's given you?
Yeah, I mean, he's, I think big, the most people. I think we need to times that by 1,000, the way that guy thinks. He thinks down avenues, thinks around corners. And I think it's really powerful surrounding yourself with people like that, that challenge the status quo and, ask critical questions, really. Because, I think a lot of us aren't, if we're really, really honest with ourselves, we're not actually, 100% accountable to our actions and to our goals, really, as well. So I think it's, working with Kyron, mind-blowing. I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, it's wicked, and I think that's a fairly good reason for you guys to jump on that webinar and have a little bit of a listen to what he's got to say. And I think that's the amazing thing that we've got amongst this, the network of Wealth Mentor, the mentors, amazing bunch of different people, but also the great network in terms of, the concept comes back. I love the saying, your network is your net worth. Does that ring quite true for you, that concept, and that what's your feedback on that little phrase?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so true, right? And I even find myself evaluating that now, and I never used to even think about it. It's just the family people or your community people that you grow up with, you think are your network, but it's so not true. You decide what you want to do in your life, and you find the people that you need to surround yourself with to get there. It's really, really simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, you still have your family, community connections there, which are very important. But from a financial standpoint, they may not be the best partners for you. So it's being, I think, aware of how that's impacting my goals and my financial ability.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, when I have a chat to you here, like it makes me so proud to see how much you've evolved as an individual as well, and the way that you speak and the way that you talk about things. You really are just embraced this whole concept of just creating the best version of yourself. No matter what it takes. And congratulations on that. I think you should be really proud of that. I'm sure Andy's super proud of what you're doing. So congrats in that regard. It actually kind of leads me into my next question for you, because not many 23-year-olds probably have this concept, but I'm sure that there must be something there for you. What do you feel like your purpose actually is? What do you feel like as Laramie, your purpose in life, or your purpose for the bigger, think bigger, like Karen says? What do you think on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I've given that a bit of thought, I can say. And well, what was that? I think really, if I'm honest, my dream aspiration or my true financial goal would be long term to actually be able to assist the poor within the community that I'm surrounded with, and let that expand from there. But I think one day it'd be really cool to be able to help out family members and pay mortgages off for them, be able to be that financially literate that I can actually directly impact those around me, which I think that would probably be my biggest aspiration.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Like I said, not many 23-year-olds would be in that space. So talking that language, they'd probably be more about how many beers can we get through this weekend or this weekday. Hugely inspiring. In terms of the current market, a lot of people out there are saying, there's no deals. It's too hard. There's nothing out there. Are you still finding stuff? And what are some of the processes that you go through as an educated investor, which I'd highly say that you're definitely in that space? What are you finding? And are there still stuff out there?
Oh, for sure. I think it's people saying that there's no deals out there. I think they're really what I would say, competing in the retail listing space. The listings that everyone can see. And they're saying, there's multi-offers. Well, that's why we've got real estate agents to market property, to drive demand. So if you're just another part of that demand, I don't think you're giving yourself the best chance to secure the best deal. And I think it probably comes back to a little bit earlier what we were saying, John, about networks. Have I got those right relationships with real estate agents? Am I talking to them? What's going on in the market? What deals are coming to market? I think the last deal we bought was actually completely off market. It didn't even get to the listing stage. We just snapped it up because we knew it was going to work. And we just eliminated all the competition, really. And it just meant that we were in the best position to just move in quick. But I think, as well, it's important. Success like speed, and I think that's increasingly important in today's market where things are moving a lot quicker. People can buy houses online, sight unseen. So it's, as you're saying, pivoting and using my network and using relationships around me, really.
Yeah, wicked. Oh, Rain's really true. So epic. Now, I've got a question that I get to ask you, and I get to ask this to all my guests, and it's a question I think that you Rain's so true. And the question is going to be, and I'll give you a little bit of a heads up on this one before I get you to answer it, is what does wealth mean to you? Because one of the things you've obviously seen over the last 3 years, I mean, the evolution of Wealth Mentor as well, and I've been now pretty much at the helm just over a year or so, year and a half, and one of the things that we've really tried to embrace is the concept of wealth and the wealth to individuals and what that means, because everybody has a different sort of meaning of what wealth is. It's not necessarily about jumping on private jets or the fancy cars, which is nice, but it's sometimes about the fact is that you can inspire family, you can change people around you, you can help people who are less fortunate than yourself. So I think that's really quite inspirational. So for you, Laramie McCullum, what is wealth and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, awesome. Now, I think wealth for me means two things. The first thing would be I can do what I want when I want without being yoked to a particular income. And I think the second point would be making money while I'm asleep. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's no better way to make money than while your head's on the pillow. And I think Warren Buffett might have said, here comes another quote.
Get my pen ready.
But I think he might have said, until someone finds a way to make money while they're asleep, I think he said they'll work for the rest of their life. So I think if he said that might have been 20, 30 years ago. Well, the internet age has, vastly changed since then. And I think it's just a broken record, people saying go to work, get a job, earn money, buy a house. It's just not sound financial advice, in my opinion.
Yeah. Awesome. No, very good. Very good. And again, not many 23-year-olds would answer a question like that with that sort of answer. Very, very inspiring. Before we finish up, though, I'd like to ask you one more question. And I guess it's kind of open-ended. You can answer this exactly how you like, because there are many people your age, obviously, out there that maybe are looking for a better way. What are some elements or some tips or I guess just words of inspiration for that younger generation just looking to become the best version of themselves and maybe grow their financial literacy?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd say to them, open your head and open your ears. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and get filled up with all the jargon and the news. Netflix, massive waste of time, in my opinion. So it's things like that, and actually taking stock of where you're investing your time, because that's the same resource that everyone has. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. And I think the big question I'd ask all young people out there is, what are you actually doing with your time? Do you care about your future?
Oh yeah, nicely done. And I guess that really does come back down to keep growing, keep becoming the best version, get educated, keep absorbing knowledge, and you just keep becoming, like I say all the time, the best version of yourself. And congratulations for all that you've achieved and all that your aspirations. Hats off to Andy, the man himself. He's raised himself a fine young man. So congratulations on that. And that brings us to the end of today. Is there any last words that you'd like to say, or should we wrap up and let everybody go and enjoy their Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, it's pretty sunny out there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't really have much to add to that, Jono. I just want to thank you for bringing me on here, and happy to provide some insights into what this is all about.
Yeah, cool. You're a legend, man. You're an absolute legend. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Always an absolute pleasure when I can have myself a bit of a friend and a bit of a guest on today. And I'm sure that many people will take a lot of inspiration from Laramie's story. You're an absolute legend. So make sure you get out there, have an awesome afternoon. And as always, most importantly, stay awesome. See you, everybody.